Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you a very funny hoopla that got me laughing. Thanks to the current events, E3 is pretty much cancelled, but their social media is still posting stuff. One of the things that they posted is an article talking about great list of games women gamers are playing. This article produced quite the salt from the Twitter sphere, and allow me to present to you the absolute hilarity of this hoopla and why people are so salty about it. The article talks about the games that women play, specifically the online games that women play and enjoy. While the author of the article is a woman, she doesn't really quite understand the kind of games that your typical women gamers play these days. In fact, I personally wouldn't rely on this website in general to write anything about gaming. Why? Well, there are several reasons, and the biggest one is the article is not very good. It's not infuriatingly bad like a lot of the articles I tackled. It's actually very adorably bad. First off, from the looks of it, this is a lifestyle website and not a gaming website. I don't know why E3, an event centered on very serious gaming, is citing a lifestyle website filled with people who are not very serious in gaming and more serious in diets for losing weight and cooking recipes. It's like a professor citing the essay of a D-grade high schooler as an example for good academic prowess. I suspect that whoever is in charge of E3's Twitter account is either someone that frequents this website or websites that talk about lifestyle in general, or they just Google games women enjoy and pick the first result on the list, which incidentally is what happened when I Googled it, and funnily enough, there was also an article from Screen Rant that talks about this entire hoopla. Second, I don't like how the article sort of insinuates that these games are the kinds of games that women typically play. The title implies that if you're a woman gamer, these are the games that you usually play. Either that, or it implies that women should only be playing these games, or else they're not a woman, they're a tomboy or something, which for the record, there's nothing wrong with that. However, there is something wrong with assuming that the 25 games that you pick for this particular article are the games that you think that women gamers play. And by women gamers, I mean actual women gamers, and not the soccer mom demographic that this website is trying to cater to. Imagine if the gender of the article is reversed. Imagine if I'm some sort of a red-pilled masculinity guru that has a website that talks about the art of manliness and what makes someone to be a real man, and an article that talks about games for real men. Actually, if I'm all of that, I wouldn't be making an article about the games that real men play. I would just tell you to go to the gym, work out, be physically strong, and tell you that video games are for losers and nerds. But let's just say that the masculinity guru me is making an article about the games that men play, and I titled it, Real Men Rejoice! 25 Games That Real Men Play! What if I put games like Fortnite or Overwatch in there? Are you insinuating that real men only play Fortnite or Overwatch? And even if I put games that most of you would agree on, that only real men play those games, the article just feels like a stereotypical paint. We haven't even gone to the actual content yet, which, well, it's much worse. Point is, the premise of this entire article unfortunately insinuates a no true Scotsman fallacy, as in an appeal to purity. The article might not say that you're not a real man or a woman for enjoying these games, but by framing it in a way that limits them to a specific gender, the article is unfortunately making that implication. I personally find the implication hilarious because that's the sort of thing that would make the woke Twitter crowds mad, and they did get mad at this, but what I find the funniest of all is that this lifestyle website in general is very stereotypical, as in it's very much designed to appeal to the middle-aged mums. Now let's get into the article's real content. The article opens with, "Girls love gaming just as much as men." No. Compared to the men, there are very few women who are just as serious in gaming as men do. In fact, there are very few women who identifies as a gamer, as shown in the Pew studies. Or are we gonna talk about how statistics are stereotypical? If you're telling me that women have the same passion towards gaming as men, I don't think we're living in the same reality. It's like saying that men love K-pop just as much as women. They might exist, but not as much as the women. The article continues by saying, according to a report by the ESA, of the 214.4 million players in the US, 41% are female. See, That's the problem with the ESA statistics, and I've criticized them in the past a lot of times. I've shown these statistics many times. Men and women play different games depending on the genre. If you account for all of the genres, it is possible to get that average number, but this is the part of the statistics that is always misused to say, see, there are a lot of women that play Call of Duty. It really depends on the genre and it depends on the games. You cannot use the overall statistics to talk about specific games. The article cites more numbers related to why women play video games. I absolutely love the framing. 77% of women ages 35 to 54 say playing video games help them to relax. 78% are using their downtime to hop into alternate worlds on their smartphones or devices. I think you should be more specific on what you mean as devices. I love how this article immediately hops into smartphone because obviously women gamers play games in smartphones. And I also love how this article focuses on 35 to 54-year-olds, as in middle-aged mums, as in the target demographic for this website. Incidentally, writer, I want to know the percentage of women who play video games because that's their hobby and they're very serious about it. The article doesn't provide that, so let's get into the ESA report. This doesn't look very good, doesn't it? According to the ESA themselves, in their 2020 report, 75% of men aged 18 to 34 play video games on a console, as in a dedicated gaming hardware. 77% of women play on the smartphone. The same proportion happens with the men and women aged 35 to 54. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, the statistics don't lie. There are women who play video games. That's an irrefutable fact. It's just that there are very few women that are gaming enthusiasts. While we didn't get the answer in how many women are gaming enthusiasts, we do at least get the picture that the gaming enthusiast demographic are still populated by men. Women in general are still not as serious in gaming compared to men. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't misuse this statistic to make the point that there are lots of women that play PC Building Simulator or something. The article continues by talking about how playing games is actually very good, guys. You can connect with your loved ones, you can use them to take a break, and it's a totally acceptable form of self-care. Yes, we already know. We play video games quite often, unlike your readers. The article continues by saying, while online games have no gender attached to them and many women enjoy everything from a puzzle quest to a sports match or a fight-oriented game, there are some games that female players tend to gravitate towards. So the article did their own survey, and kudos to that. It's just that the survey needs to be beyond your particular demographic because, as we see from the games being shown, it's still catering to middle-aged mums. The first game on the list is Sudoku. No, I'm not kidding. Sudoku is the first game on the list. You might as well put tic-tac-toe in there, writer. Number 2 is an interesting choice. Sayonara Wild Hearts, a very trippy rhythm game with some very dope music that I enjoyed, though this one is only personally recommended by the product manager of Facebook Gaming's product team, but I don't know, writer. I don't know what kind of music that middle-aged mums are into these days because the game's soundtrack is very pop and modern, mostly appealing to the Zoomers or the Millennials. Number 3 is Candy Crush Saga because, of course, it's Candy Crush Saga. The article does state that 64% of Candy Crush players were female, but this is not gonna go well for the women gaming enthusiasts out there who play actual games rather than time-killer, microtransaction-ridden match-3 mobile games. Also, if you're on Windows 10 right now, you might have Candy Crush Saga installed on your PC, so I suggest you to delete that alongside many other of Microsoft's useless apps. Number 4 is Harry Potter Wizards no thanks. Number 5 is Animal Crossing New Horizon. Now that's more like it. That's a game that both men and women actually play and care about and post on social media to share with their friends. The only thing that I would complain about is if the readers of this website know the difference between a Nintendo and a Switch. Shh, don't tell them. Number 6 is Overwatch, obviously, because that's the most popular hero shooter in the market. But I really don't want to recommend this game to the non-gaming enthusiasts out there. While it is a very mainstream multiplayer hero shooter, it does have a bit of a learning curve that I don't think the middle-aged mums are going to be able to handle. And even if they can, they probably don't have the time to do so. Number 7 is Solitaire. Of course, article, sure thing. Do you want to add Minesweeper on the list too? Or 3D Pinball? Number 8 is Sims 4, which of course you would recommend Sims 4, but I don't recommend Sims 4 because Sims 4 is trash. Sims 3 is a million times better and you can get them for cheap with expansions on Steam. Number 9 is Stardew Valley, which I also recommend to people who want to scratch their Harvest Moon itch. This is actually a game that my sister play a lot. I have no issues with this recommendation, or at least to gamers in general. Maybe not so much to the typical readers of your website. Number 10 is Spelunky. That's a very odd choice. Number 11 is Bejeweled Classic, another match 3 game, but I find the article's framing of this game to be very interesting. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, am I right, ladies? Oh, that's just cringe, and I'm a man. Number 12 is Bandery? Excuse me, writer? Are you gonna recommend Love Life or Idolmaster next? I don't know about you, but if I make a list of anime for men, I don't put Free Iwatobi Swim Club in it. Or JoJo for that matter. Now that's a lot of salt I'm hearing. The rest of the games are either not really worth mentioning or online trash like Kim Kardashian Hollywood Adventure. Basically what I'm trying to say is that this list over here is not very good, especially to the actual women gaming enthusiasts out there. This list is clearly being made by someone who doesn't play a lot of games, or at least the kind of games that women gaming enthusiasts actually play, and interviews people left and right on the kind of games that they like. But this is to be expected on a lifestyle website that doesn't really write a lot of video games and write more about diets and cooking recipes. That is not to be expected of the official account of E3. They have clearly screwed up big time by posting this article, an out of touch article that makes unfortunate implications towards the actual women gaming enthusiasts out there. E3 posts this article on Twitter as a way to say, "How do you do, fellow female gamers?" And it backfired spectacularly because what they posted sort of sound like, if you are a woman and you are a gaming enthusiast, these are the games that you typically play. It backfired so much, the Twitter post got deleted, the official E3 account apologized, and I'm sitting here just laughing my freaking ass off.